Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into, a really interesting way to think about fear. We're looking at a source called powerful prayer, praying boldly amidst threats. And it's all focused on a specific story in the Bible, Acts chapter 4. So picture this. Peter and John, they've just healed someone, been preaching about Jesus, right? And the authorities basically haul them in and give them a direct warning, like, stop talking about Jesus, period, or else. Pretty serious stuff. So what do? Run, hide. Nope. Our source says they went straight back to their community, their friends, and they prayed. But here's where it gets really fascinating. They didn't pray for, protection or for the threats to go away. They prayed for boldness. The actual prayer from Acts 4, verses 29-30 goes, "Now, Lord, consider their threats and enable your servants to speak your word with great boldness." And it continues, "Stretch out your hand to heal and perform signs and wonders through the name of your holy servant Jesus." That reaction, it tells us a lot.
Oh, absolutely. That moment in Acts, it's like a snapshot of how the early church dealt with, frankly, terrifying situations. They didn't shrink back. Our source talks about them leaning in, grounding themselves in this deep belief in God's sovereignty.
Sovereignty meaning?
Meaning that fundamental trust that God is ultimately in charge of everything, even the scary stuff, even the threats. And that leads us right into the first big idea from the source. God is in control. It wasn't just a nice thought for them. It was like the bedrock.
Right. It's what allowed them to pray that kind of prayer in the first place.
Exactly. And let them ask for more opportunity to speak, not less trouble.
So what's the connection for us, for you listening? I mean, when things feel out of control in your world, when life gets genuinely scary, remembering that, okay, God's still steering the ship, that can bring a real sense of peace, right?
And the source points out, he's not, distant. He's actively involved. So even persecution, or what feels like a massive setback, could actually be part of a bigger picture, maybe even helping spread the message in unexpected ways.
Yeah, it really makes you pause and think. When things feel overwhelming, how does knowing God's still in control actually, change how you approach it, how you feel about it?
Okay, so building on that foundation, God's in control, the deep dive, also brings out this second really striking point. Ask for boldness, not comfort.
Yeah, this is huge. If we connect this to the bigger picture, look at what they didn't ask for. They were facing real danger, actual threats, but the prayer wasn't, "Lord, get us out of this mess," or "make it easier."
No, it was the opposite almost.
Right. They asked for the courage, the boldness to keep going despite the threats, and for God to keep showing up, doing powerful things through them. And the source highlights that God answered very directly, not just with a warm, fuzzy feeling, but with the place shaking, with this tangible sense of being filled with the Holy Spirit, this divine empowerment.
Wow, shaking and spirit-filled boldness. Yeah. So the lesson here seems to be that, following Jesus, living out your faith, it often does come with challenges. It might cost something. But the promise alongside that is that the strength you need will be there. God meets that kind of boldness with his power.
That really flips the script on what we might normally trade for, doesn't it? Aiming for faithfulness over just an easy ride. So what does this all mean for you in your everyday life? Maybe it means not shying away from that difficult conversation at work, or speaking up about something important, even if it feels awkward.
Right. Being ready to be used, basically. And the passage also shows them praying together. There's power in that shared prayer for courage.
Definitely. So it boils down to remembering God's in control and then actively choosing to ask for boldness rather than just comfort or escape.
Which really brings up an important question for reflection, doesn't it? How could you, listening now, apply this pray boldly idea in your own life, using your voice, your actions, whatever context you're in, to make a difference, even when it feels costly or uncomfortable?
And here's a final thought to chew on, building on that whole prayer. What if, when you face something difficult, instead of just asking God to take it away, what if you prayed for the guts to stand firm right in the middle of it, trusting that maybe your response, your faithfulness itself, could be one of those signs and wonders in the world around you? Something to think about.